This is Restless by Design. Before we begin, I just want to say this is a place to slow down, to notice what's just beneath the surface. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Chapter 2. I don't know how to do just one thing. And how I really want to read that chapter is I don't know how to do just one thing. So, this essay is about how curiosity isn't a lack of discipline. I believe that it might be a form of attention. There's a version of success that is very easy to understand. You choose a path, you stay on it, you get better, more established, more known. There's comfort in that. It's kind of clarity, a sense that if you just keep going, it'll all make sense. And for some people, that is exactly right. But for others, it doesn't quite fit. There's a different kind of pull, one that shows up as something that starts to feel familiar, a curiosity, a shift, a quiet sense that there might be something else to explore. And not because anything is wrong, just because something else is calling. And maybe you felt that. For me, it's always the moment when I have started to get not necessarily good, but better at something. And so instead of going deeper in that same way, I start wondering what else is out there because now my mind is expanded. I've gone from one threshold to another. I understand X, Y, and now that I know Z, I go, oh my gosh, a whole new alphabet. At least that's what it feels like in my brain. So again, I start wondering what else is out there. And it's not out of boredom. It's not out of distraction. It is out of interest, out of a kind of aliveness that comes from learning something new, from stepping into a room where you don't already know how everything works. Beginner mind, a lot of people call it. I love it. It's my favorite space. There's something humbling about that. There's also something energizing to be new, to be slightly unsure, to be surrounded by people who know more than you do. Yes, please. People who expand your understanding just by being who they are. For a long time, I felt that instinct needed to be managed, that I needed to choose one thing, commit to it in a more traditional way, to narrow it down, define it clearly, and I'll make it easier to explain. Because the world tends to reward clarity. It likes things that are easy to categorize, or as I've always said, be in a box. And as my mom has always told me, we've never been able to put you in a box, Annie. Having one title, one path, one answer to the question, what do you do? And when you don't have that, it can feel like you're doing something wrong, like you're unfocused or inconsistent or not fully committed. But from the inside, it feels very different. It feels like flowing, that it's still unfolding, like I'm building a life through layers instead of lines, where one thing informs the next. And even if they don't look like they're going to obviously connect at first, what I'm learning to do is take that space and watch how it quietly shapes how I move it into another. No, it is not always efficient. It does not always look linear, and it can be very hard to explain. But that doesn't mean that it's without direction. It's just a different kind of direction, one that moves with interest instead of certainty, one that allows for change without immediately turning it into a problem. And maybe that's the space that needs just a little more room. The idea that you're allowed to change your mind, that you're allowed to outgrow something, even if you were once very committed to it. That curiosity isn't a lack of discipline. And I really feel like our lives are cumulative. I believe this might actually be a form of attention, a way of noticing what's evolving both around you and within you. Of course, there's going to be tension in that because when you move this way, it can feel like you've never fully arrived. And then all of a sudden you're in the middle of something and maybe you felt that too. The quiet question is whether you should just pick something, stay with it, make it simpler. But every time that I have tried to imagine that version of my life, it feels smaller, more contained, less alive. And I am starting to trust that feeling, not as something to justify, just as information. Because the truth is, I don't experience my life as scattered. I experience it as layered, or like I said before, cumulative. It's connected in ways that aren't always obvious from the outside, where each interest, each chapter, each shift has added something. It's built new connections in my mind. Oh, because I learned how to do this, now I understand why this works the way that it does. It creates this logic in my brain. It builds something, even if it doesn't follow a straight line. So maybe the goal isn't just to become one thing. Maybe the goal is connected to what feels real for you as it changes, to follow curiosity without it needing to make immediate sense. Again, be in the thick of it, to allow your life to take shape in a way that reflects how you actually experience the world, not just how it's supposed to look. And to trust that even if it doesn't fit neatly into a category, it can still be whole. It can still be intentional. It can still be yours. I don't know how to do just one thing, and maybe you don't either. And maybe that's not something to fix. Maybe it's something to understand, and eventually something to trust.